Welcome to my podcast, Socialite for Consciousness, Instigator of Possibilities. So today I want to talk to you about moving forward. Moving forward and into truly living our lives greater than what we ever have before. You know, now that restrictions have lifted on the coronavirus in many places, in New York, we are just coming out of some restrictions. It's probably a lot more locked down than many places are still at this time. I see a lot of people doing their social distance dining and all these such things, which looks like a lot of fun. Because I'd love to get out and go to a restaurant again. But, you know, we're moving forward into something different. You know, nothing will ever go back to what it was. A lot of people, I hear a lot of people talk about, oh, I can't wait to get back to normal. But what is normal anyway? And you know, we will never go back to the way things were, but how could we move forward greater than what was in the past? And we are on a different path in many ways, or what we call an access consciousness. Gary Douglas says we are changing tracks. And we are on a totally different track, a totally different path, you know. I would say these months in quarantine have made or have, changed all of us in different ways. Maybe some greater, maybe some worse. And what is that, and what could you choose differently? Would you like to move forward and to truly live your life, or would you, a lot of people have had a lot of fear around the coronavirus, and we still see it a lot, but would you like to be afraid to live your life, this glorious, wonderful life that would you have, or would you like to step into a place to truly live and to truly create something greater in your life? I've been looking at this or contemplating it, asking questions about this, as I see in certain areas, I'm looking at things that I did before and recreating those or creating them again. And in a way, it's interesting because I see how some of that puts me into a space of the past, or a space that just doesn't exist anymore. So I've been asking myself questions. Well, how can I create this differently? Is this something I'm still choosing to have and create in my life? Or is it lighter for me to choose something different and to choose greater things? As I look at some areas where I've stopped creating some new things that I was creating, and looking at the past as to creating that again. And it's interesting to me. I noticed myself doing this, and I says, okay, well, what would I truly like to create in my life and as my future? And I know that there are certain things that now I can ask, how can I create this differently? For example, seeing clients in my Tantra business. If you guys don't know, I'm an Access Consciousness Certified Facilitator. I'm a Joy of Business Certified Facilitator, JCF for short. I'm also an Access Consciousness Bars Facilitator, Body Process Facilitator, and Facelift Facilitator. And all these things that I love doing, and certain things like the classes, like in-person classes where we do the body work, we have not been able to do in this time of quarantine. And I'm super excited to have these classes again. And I'm also a Tantra practitioner and facilitator. And, I've been looking at, what I've created with clients, and that there have not been that many clients over this period of time, or I should say none. Anyway, and as I contemplate this area of my business again, I'm asking, how I could create this differently rather than going back to what I was creating before and more financially dependent on that business. And I've been looking at creating other new businesses that I've been doing, and I'm asking a lot of questions because, just to be totally vulnerable, I've, found myself in what I have seemed like a bit of a stuck point. And was it really a stuck point, or was it really just making different choices? And sometimes making different choices can feel stuck because it's not as familiar as some things that we've done in the past. And I know for me, when all this started going on, I was just creating nonstop, and, it's been dragging on for a little bit. And I've sensed that I've had my ups and downs with creation. And I do know, though, that I have chosen, and I did choose, and I'm still choosing, to truly live my life. Even before the coronavirus, I look at places where maybe I wasn't truly living and doing the same things and getting the same results. And I know that I would love to travel more. I made a conscious choice not to travel too much over the past couple of years. And that was when my dog was not doing so well. And I chose to not travel and to be around for him. And it was a choice. It was a conscious choice. And, before the coronavirus, I was so excited because I was like, I'm going to choose to travel more. I'm going to choose to do these other things more. And then with the coronavirus, travel has not been a possibility. I mean, there is some travel that we're able to do here in the U.S. However, traveling, without being able to go out and go to restaurants and experience certain things, just is not so desirable for me. So I've, of course, been around New York. And I'm asking these questions, how do I truly want to live every day? And, we all go through those ups and downs and those wonky points. And, do I want to live my life creating and having fun, or do I want to live my life being stuck and being in fear? Which sounds like it will create a greater future to you. And for me, creating and choosing to have more fun and more joy in my life is definitely something that's going to create greater for me. So I just look at these days that I've had some wonkiness and had some ups and downs, and going, okay, interesting choice that I'm making that choice. Everything is just a choice. And again, we do have some moments of wonkiness, or where we're sensing what's going on with other people that, come into our being that we are aware of. And we can ask questions to, get ourselves out of that funk. We can make a podcast and get ourselves out of that wonkiness and that funk. And we can make choices that will truly create something for us. And I want to talk to you guys more about choice. I don't know if I'll do it on this podcast or if we'll make a separate one. We'll, talk a little bit about it. But everything in life is just a choice. And when you actually look at everything, it's just a choice. Having fear is a choice. Having happiness is a choice. Being happy in your body is a choice. And when you actually look at that choice and what your choice is going to create, what would you truly like to choose as your life and in your life? And if you have been having fear or sensing other people's fear, do you want to live your life in fear? You only have one life that you know of. Would you rather make the most of it and have joy and fun and creativity and greater communions every day? Or do you want to live a life that's in fear and that small, where you're not creating and not getting out and enjoying this beautiful planet that we live in and on, and can contribute to us with its greatness and the way that it just simply bees and is always gifting to us. So ask yourself, if I were truly living my life and truly living the life I would like to have, what would I like to choose? In this moment, today, tomorrow, and a month in the future, 2 months in the future, 6 months in the future, a year in the future, and 5 years in the future. When we start to look at what future our choices create, what would you actually like to truly choose, and what would you like to truly create? And we have choice, again, in everything that we do. And when you make a choice and you actually ask, well, what will this choice create? And ask, what will it create in 5 years? I know some people have trouble going 5 years in the future. And that's a lot easier for me now, more ease for me now than when I first started using that tool. But when we actually look at the future that we will create with the choices that we make, we might make some different choices. We might not choose to stay in a particular relationship. We might not choose to go to a restaurant. We might choose to eat something different. But we might also choose to get out of the fear, get out of our guilt, get out of our blame, our shame, and all these distractor implants that hold us back from truly living our life and what we would like to create. And when we stop choosing from the judgments that we have of ourselves and what we would like to create, and maybe even of other people and what's going on in the world, what could create a greater future? And what choice could you make today? In asking myself this, and I'm building this muscle myself of what will this choice create, sometimes I notice myself where I make choices and I don't always ask what future it's going to create. And this is something a tool that I would like to use more in my life. If I choose this, what will this choice create? If I choose this, what will my life be like in 5 years, in 10 years? Sometimes we just choose for today, or we just keep rolling along because things are easy. A routine is easy. Being in quarantine may have gotten easy for you. Working from home may have gotten to be more ease for you. But is this really going to create the future that you would like? We're social creatures, and I would love to see things go back to, and we'll use the word normal in the sense that, creating with other people, communing with people, touching and receiving from other people is a great gift that we have to interact and to be the social creatures and beings that we be. And this is something that I truly would love to see more of, doing energy work and healing work. I love touching bodies and being with bodies, and it creates something so much greater, in my personal point of view. And I've heard a lot of other people talk about this, and those of us who do access consciousness and those who do different types of body work, but having touch and receiving this type of body work, it boosts our immune systems. It helps us to heal. It helps us to not get viruses and to not get sick when we actually have touch in our lives, when we receive body work that helps us to heal and to change things in our life. I've still gotten my bars run and exchanged bars when it's been possible during COVID. And, exchanging bars and receiving body processes like MTVSS and the Access facelift and other body processes, it really can change your immune system, and it can open your receiving, and your body does not take on things like viruses and disease as easily as it may for other people. And I know that a lot of us who have received years of this body work and who choose to still do exchanges have not taken on the virus. And maybe people that have been exposed to it didn't take on the virus. And, what could it create to actually start to have more communion with your body, to not have fear of touch, to not have fear of just having a conversation with somebody? It's can create something totally different if you actually choose to embrace these things and to embrace these areas of your life, to take classes that will be available. I'll be having some classes hopefully in June. We should be able to do that here. But what could I choose for you to embrace the touch and the healing power of the touch, rather than think that the touch is going to give you a disease or create something wrong in your body? Touch is such a valuable thing in creating our lives and moving forward. So I know myself, for one, I'm not going to have fear with touch and communing with others. And I think that the more of us that choose to create our lives and to truly let others know that there's other possibilities available, can create something totally different in our lives for other people, and to actually create a world that has a greater communion and greater possibilities than there ever were before. What if, everybody chose to actually embrace their bodies and embrace the different body processes and energy work that is available, that can help to heal ourselves, that can help to heal the planet, that can help to heal each other, and to create a kinder living, a kinder living possibility in this planet and on the earth, rather than to let separation and fear create your world in this life. So I'm inviting you to make a choice to create a kinder living planet for you, for everyone around you, for people that you don't know, and a greater living earth. So everything that may be holding you in fear, in separation, in the unkindness that has existed, would you let all of that go now, please? Would you let it go and return it to wherever it came from? And would you embrace a kinder living you, a kinder living communion with your friends, your family, and everyone on the planet and the planet itself? Yes, and I didn't really know where this podcast was going, and I didn't know that it was going in that direction. But I know that that is what I would like to create. And I would like to show other people a different possibility, a different way of being and living with our bodies, with the planet, and with everyone. So what would you like to choose? What would you like to choose as your future is your life right now? And would you like to embrace, to truly live the life that you would like to live? You know, there's a great quote that sits on my wall on a plaque that my sister gave me. And it's from Albert Einstein. And it's one of my favorite quotes so far. And he says there are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is though everything is a miracle. So I personally would like to choose the miraculous side. I would like to choose to look at everything as a miracle and to look at what we can keep creating and keep choosing to create a greater life and living than we ever had before and then we could possibly imagine. And on that note, I think I'm going to end this podcast. It's been an awesome podcast for me, and I hope you guys enjoy this. If you do, please give me a thumbs up, like this podcast, follow this podcast, or share it if you would like with anyone that you think might enjoy it. And I look forward to seeing you on the next podcast, or follow me on social media. You can find me on my website at haleymarie.nyc. And ciao for now. Have an amazing day and enjoy yourself, enjoy your life, and a greater future than you could ever possibly imagine.